my channel, it's me again, Tina, and today we are going to talk about the JET program interview. So last December 12, there was an announcement made on the Japanese website in the Philippines stating that the JET program interview will be done online. This is to protect us from COVID-19. However, it is also best to check the website from time to time in case that there will be changes in the future or in the next coming days or months. Okay? So anyway, guys, if you're new to my channel, please do not forget to click the like and the subscribe button below and the notification bell in case that so that you'll be notified next time I upload a new video. Okay? So guys, I am also an applicant just like you, so I have never done any JET program interview in the past, so this is my first time applying. However, what I did was I tried to research about it and tried to watch some YouTube videos about the JET program interview, and I have taken down notes and I'd like to share it with you guys, okay? So guys, I'm going to read what I've written about the JET program interview. Okay, so I believe that this will be helpful to us JET aspirants or JET applicants. So I found out that the interview is usually 20 to 25 minutes, but I'm not sure if that applies to all countries or if it will be more than that, okay? This is just what I've learned from one of the YouTube videos that I watched. So, the person or the ALT who is an applicant and now working in Japan mentioned about 20 to 25 minutes panel interview, okay? But he said usually, okay? So maybe there will be cases wherein it will be more than that, okay? So that is the first tip that I'd like to share with you guys, okay? Tip number 2, he said to make sure that you read your application and your statement of purpose before the interview, okay? Because 90% of the questions came from the application and statement of purpose, okay? So that's tip number 2, all right? So let's go to tip number 3. So, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and not only one person mentioned this, and not only in the Philippines but in other parts of the world. Okay, those who were in the USA or those who were in the UK also mentioned about these particular questions, like why Japan? So why would you like to teach English in Japan? And why the JET program? Okay, so that is the most important thing that we learn, or we should be able to answer that question. Okay, Next tip is for us to know about ALT or assistant language teacher, or we need to know about the job. So what will you be doing in Japan as an ALT? So it is important for us to understand the JET program and the job of an ALT teacher in Japan, okay? Next is it is important that we know about the country, the culture of Japan, and how will we represent Japan, and not just Japan, but our country, the Philippines. Okay, so it is important that we know about the culture of Japan, and it is also important for us to share about our culture. So we need to remember the word internationalization. Okay, so that's my next tip. So, in my own personal opinion, it is important to learn about the country, to read and research about Japanese culture, and at the same time think of a way of how we can share our culture to the Japanese people or to our students as well, because that is, I believe, one of the main goals of the JET program, which is internationalization. So, we should be able to answer the question, how will you represent your country in Japan? Okay? So how will you represent your country and Japan? Okay? So one of the ALT teacher shared about a particular question similar to how will you handle a difficult student? So I think that we should be ready to deal with students like this one, and we should be ready to answer similar questions like this one. So maybe some students will be difficult because they are young. I think it will depend on the level of the student, but I think that it is also important that we are prepared for such situations and be ready to answer questions related to this one. Okay, now the next tip is given if asked us that question is to know about the school procedures, or maybe you can answer by simply stating that it is important for an ALT to know the procedures so that you will be able to handle difficult students. Okay, so I'm not really sure if there are difficult students because I've never done any teaching in Japan. I had a practice teaching, and those were for young learners, and I think that one of the difficult situation I encountered was teaching a student who doesn't want to study at the time, and he only wanted to sleep or play outside. So I guess the student was tired that time, so I just decided to give him some free time, and after that like I made a deal with the student that okay, if you study for an hour, or if you finish your homework, we can go to the playground and play together. So that is, I believe, one of the best solution at that time, and so the student decided to study, and after that we went to the nearest playground. Okay, so I'm not saying that you can bring the students out. I think it depends on the school, but in my case, the Eikaiwa at that time, they allow the students to go to the nearest playground because it's just across the school. Okay, so I hope so I just want to share that with you guys. So another question would be about being homesick, or we should be ready to answer questions about what will you do if you get homesick. So one of the ALT mentioned to be honest and explain just how you will deal with the situation, and not say that you will never experience any homesickness, because that is so unrealistic. So we try to be honest as possible and just give them an answer of what you will do in case you get homesick. Okay, next is a question about school activities. Okay, so what kind of activities can you do in the classroom that will be enjoyable for the students? So I think that if you're teaching elementary students, you need to be ready to do some games or fun activities with the kids. Okay, and Last question, last tip, sorry, is how will you communicate with students who are low beginners or have zero English or unable to really communicate in English? Okay, so that is, I think, one of the common problems that an ALT encounters. So how will you make your student understand your lesson if they cannot speak English? Okay, so I think the teacher mentioned about, is it okay to use a Japanese language to make the student follow the instructions, or just do some action, or make your sentences simple and incorporate it with a lot of actions and gestures. So I don't know, guys, how you will deal with that situation, but in my case, I guess that it is important to just understand or be patient with the student, and mostly in this kind of scenario, shadowing is the first step. So you let your student just repeat after you, and yes, if you can use actions to let the student understand the lesson, then I think that's one of the best strategy. Okay, guys, that's all for today. So I just want to share with you this interview tips, or some of the questions that I gathered, and some of the questions which I am also trying to answer myself, because I am preparing for the JET program, and of course, because I am an aspirant, I'm already claiming that I will be shortlisted. So it is best to practice how to answer questions, and it is also best to make a research and watch a lot of videos about this one, just to be ready or to prepare. Okay, so I hope that you enjoy this video. Again, thank you so much again for watching, guys. Bye.